Joy, Secretary Lopez, ladies and gentlemen. Those who are young and beautiful, you come up here and sit beside your brother so that you will be protected. I was on my way from the banana growers. Tumawag si Andanar and asked me if I could just give about 3 sentences about what I intend to do. Yung isang gabi, tinanong niya ako, how would you rate yourself? I said, 6 in a scale of 10. And the following day, I read in the papers that I was hitting 74, 2 points shorter than President Ramos when he became the president. Alam mo, sabi ko, I'm not into ratings. Wala talaga ako. Everybody, lahat ng taga Davao na kilala ako, I tend not really to derogate myself, but to just make it as not really as humble as it should be. But hindi kasi ako mahilig dyan magyabang. And even until now, I just gave the order for all of the country to not to put posters on my face. Dito sa Davao, hindi talaga nangyari yan. Even during election time, I do not. Yung mga project, akin ito, no such thing in Davao. And no display of whether you find me handsome or ugly. I just don't want my face being posted there everywhere. I keep low. Well, it's in me na medyo mahiyain, and of course the niceties of governance. Isang mama, just to see how ulol itong Pilipino. I see it everywhere. You put to the honorable, I erase the word excellency. Masyadong mataas yan para sa atin. I told the cabinet that for a democratic state, the word excellency is too sumptuous. Just use president. And even in close friends, sinasabi ko, you address me as mayor. Because I have been used to the word since I was mayor here for 23 years. And araw-araw for 23 years. Even my daughter, si Sarah, when she talks of me, third party, well, just is the mayor. He does not address me as Papa. Only when we are yung harap-harapan. So, sabi ko, I rate myself at 6. Yung pala 74. And what does that mean? It means that for the next few years, we move on. The drug campaign will not end. It will result in still in so many deaths. And I do not apologize for it. One thing is sure is that I've been telling the law enforcement agencies, the police and the military, because they are into it also, I said, if the guy is to be arrested, you just announce your authority, and if he resists arrest and puts up a violent resistance, kill him. And that has been, and I will not renege on that. There shall be no reduction either in substance or in form. Ayaw ko talaga ang droga because if I do not interdict it now, I am not into a hubris mode, but looking at the politicians in the horizon. If I go out suddenly, then alam ko na mahirapan ang Pilipinas. Mahirapan ang Pilipinas kasi I do not think that they would have the stomach for this kind of things. Mag-order sa dami mo na patayin mo yan. Ginagawa ko yan because I know from where I stand. sabi ko, I repeat, if I do not interdict the problem now, magkakaroon tayo ng problema generational for the next generation. Kawawa yung mga anak ninyo ngayon nasa, for me, yung mga apo ko, malalaki na yung anak ko. But yung may mga grade school ngayon, delikado talaga kayo. Delikado kayo. So somebody has to do it for the Filipino. Well, it's always a matter of maybe destiny. Maybe God placed you there to precisely to do the things that must be done to help the Filipino. At ako naman ho, I just read it from a overseas-based opinion writer about me being ousted by people power. Be my guest. I don't give a shit. You know, I became mayor contrary to what was my expectations in life when I was young. In my days of my youth, I never expected to be mayor, but though I know that I'd be a lawyer. But all I wanted, and it is a history here in Davao City, if you ask them, that all I wanted was a promotion from a prosecutor to be a judge. Kasi ang sweldo ng judge could finance really a son or daughter to study in Manila. Alam ko gusto ng mga anak ko. Inday, for one, wanted to take up law sa my school. So, ang sweldo kasi ng fiscal, kung medyo dyan ka lang, could hardly cope up with the expenses of 2 or more children in Manila. Just only have one. Ang akin naman, yung vice mayor, you should have invited him to teach about business. Hindi masyadong So nagtanan pa tuloy, so it was Inday. So suddenly she was there, kumuha ng law. Itong vice mayor, ewan ko kung anong natapos niyan. Home economics or hotel HRN. Ganyan yan. So, yun lang ang gusto ko. Lahat na itong expectations what evolved in my life were the very opposite of the things which I really was looking at into my future. So it's a matter of destiny. So I would say that I became mayor because of destiny. I became a vice mayor because of destiny. I became a congressman because of my destiny. It was not in my actuarial computation sa buhay ko. Ngayon, nandito ako. I have this sacred duty to take care of my country and people. Mamatay ako, sabi ko, I've said this several times, I'm putting at stake on the table my honor, my life, and even the presidency. These things, it does not mean to me at all. Basta ako magtrabaho lang. If I am there for 1 year only, then so be it. It is already written in my destiny that we president for 1 year. If I am ousted, then it is also written in doings that I'll be there and I'll be ousted. And if I die, with more reason that it's really a part of your territory, of your life in this world. So it doesn't really bother me at all. Pag sinabi kong gawin ko, gawin ko. And I did not look back when I started. Maraming patay, problema mo yan, ginusto mo, ginusto ko rin. Kung anong aabutin natin sa buhay na ito, di hanggang dyan lang tayo. Yung lang lahat dyan namatay, you think of me and we're almost the same. That is your destiny to die, to go into drugs, you hurt people, you destroy the generation. Mayroon drugs. It starts not even sa actual taking. It starts with the family. Yung may mga kilala mo kayo dito, rich or poor, what will be the immediate impact? The immediate impact is you have a dysfunctional family. Maghiwalay ang asawa, magkagastos-gastos sa rehab, almost spending 4 million, 5 million. And you know very well that one day they would slide back. Kasi, sabi nga, ang Amerikano nga ang sabi, 6 months to 1 year, shabu-shabu ka araw-araw. It will shrink your brain. And if the brain is shrunk, then rehab is no longer viable. So now we have hit the 3 million mark. I really do not have an accurate count of how much or how many of them have shrunk brains. But we have a problem. That is an enormous number. And you should not take it lightly because this 3 million plus the 7 that surrendered during my time would place it, we are still receiving surrenderies. And by the end of the year, expect to the number to breach the 1 million mark. I remember that I talked to Widodo sa Laos, and we're friends. And I said, Adre, ilan sa iyo? Estimate niya 4 million. And I played with we did some comparison. Indonesia is a big country. But 2-3 great islands there. And the population is almost 240 million. Mine is a small country, archipelago, a long coastline, kasi paikot-ikot ka dyan sa island. And I have 1 million for, and I am a very small country. Now, the 3 million computation was done by Santiago, General Santiago, during his time. I was not yet president then. I was mayor. And I knew the seriousness insofar as my dimensional, kung saan ako papasok. And I was very strict here because I know it was dangerous. Talamak. And then I know na pag hindi ko talaga bitreatan to, masisira ang aking syudad. I was only concerned with my city, but at the time, I warned everybody that if you are a drug pusher or a syndicate, and you're operating here, and the apparatus and all the pusher, you better get out. Yung mga kidnappers, ransom or whatever, kasi pag hindi, papatayin ko kayo. At ginawa ko talaga. This is the problem about it. Many lost their lives. Ngayon, when I'm president, gano'n rin sinabi ko. Do not do it. Remember, right after, I was on a platform of only 3 big major issues. Sabi ko, I have to stop corruption in government. Or else we go nowhere. Maniwala kayo. Pag hindi kayo tumulong sa akin, then I said I would stop drugs, if possible, and suppress crime. Yung kidnap or ransom na marami sa Manila, almost latest count was 49 Chinese guys kidnapped, never to be returned again despite the payment of ransom. Ito yung mga talagang hindi kita mapalusot. Dito sa Davao, magprangka ako, nanyan yung video. Mag-rape ka ng bata, patayin mo dito. 18 months old. Putang ina, patay ka talaga. May kita ba abutin ng presidente? I-intercept kita somewhere. Hindi ako pwede ng gano'n eh. So when I became president, only milder, but I was very specific. I said I will place it as a national security issue, invite the military to come in, so that's the only time, then declare the state of lawlessness. That would justify the military to At sinabi ko, very specific, go out and arrest them, and if they do not surrender or would be willing to place themselves under the control and custody of the law enforcement, and you put up a resistance, patayin niyo. If you feel that your life is in danger, kill them. And as of today, I lose on the average 2 policemen a day. If it is an extraordinary or judicial, oh, how come I'm having casualties in my hand too? Yan ang mahirap. Then comes, bago tayo dyan sa business, para rin maintindihan ninyo, because it could affect you somehow in the days to come. But I will do some corrective measures. That was a garbage started here. But although there were much really to be concerned of, because marami talagang namatay dito. But Davao, you can go anywhere except for the bombing, which is being done on a regular basis all over Mindanao. And because of the fighting in Sulu, nagalit ako noong katapusan na pati bata kinidnap nila, pinutulan nila ng ulo. What's the fucking thing about what you're doing to your will? Ganito yan. I started even before I took my oath of office. I talked to the communists. They agreed before my oath taking. We will talk. So we are freed now of the fight against the NPAs. As a matter of fact, I have some extra soldiers to spare for other places. Then I started to talk to the MI. Pumayag si Murad pati si Jafar. They are the moderates actually sa MI. Then I talked to Miswari. Next week he's going to come out from his lair, his den in Sulu. And I will have him escorted sa Davao. And we will talk. And there is, para maintindihan kasi, there is a certain dito sa Mindanao sector na hindi ko talaga pwedeng, despite the fact that after the election, I sent my daughter-in-law, whose father is a Tausug and whose mother is a Maranao, just like my Lola, sent her to gather a few men, few scholars, yung mga talagang ano sa hulo, pati dito sa yung religious scholars. Marami dito yung, kita mo yung puti na kasultanan ng puti, tapos these are what you would call tablik, if I may compare them sa at reliyon natin. It's parang Knights of Columbus sa Catholic. Ayan. So sabi ko, what's wrong? Then they started to rattle off so many things. But I remember that there was an ANC interview of Tatad, si Lozano, at si, marami sila, yung mga matatanda na nagmamakarunong na I said that Duterte is dwelling on the past. That was 100 years ago. Actually, that hindi galing sa akin yan. Galing yan doon sa mga tao, scholars na kinausap ko dito before I was sworn in. Sabi ko, why can't you participate with NOR, MIMN so that we can just talk about peace in Mindanao? Sabi nila, Mayor, we will talk to you, but we will never negotiate peace with you. So what's the reason? What's bugging you? Because of what happened to us. Sila yung nag-produce ng pictures. It did not come from me. Yung pictures, the Filipinos at the time had no Polaroids. Wala namang instant. We got it from the archives of the U.S. Congress. Yung mga picture ng mga moro na dump on one hole. And there was, ginamit pa ng postage, may postage. Ang picture, ang Amerikano na sundalo, nakaganon yung paa niya sa dibdib ng babae, piled of bodies there. Then they showed me the picture and they gave me some picture. They showed me the originals yung nakuha nila. Ayun. So this cannot be a thing of the past. It will always be present in our humanity. And so we will not talk about peace for as long as there are soldiers who are here in Mindanao. We see them in the military camps. And I think there are about 119 of them here. Because you are still fighting us. The Americans are still fighting us through your government forces. Because you are the continuation of the Americans, and the Americans, the continuations of the Spaniards. There was this Philippine-American-Spanish War. They lost. So the Philippines, as one of the territories conceded by the Spaniards to America, kasali ang Guam. Guam Marsana. Kaya ang mga pangalan sa Guam, puro Spaniards. Pareho sa atin. Yung mga Guaminyo, because they were first conquered by the Spaniards. And they had to give it up because they lost the war against America. And one of them was Dewey. Dewey was the one who smashed the Spanish armada, yung galleons nila na warships. So ayaw talaga nila. So these are really the bets on the table. Now, I was talking to the banana growers. We're good, except that if we do not talk about peace and realize it really as a matter of, you will be always be paying the revolutionary taxes. And let alone the extortion activities of the bandits here all around. There's so much of them. But I can kill them all. Ubusin mo lang isang barangay, isang araw, di tapos na. But that will not win the war for us. It will just exacerbate. You just have to play. And the only reason why I can reach out to the Muslims is because of my grandmother. My grandfather is a Cebuano. And if anybody asks me, ano ka? I always tell them Cebuano. Because we trace our lineage from our father. Then sa nanay. But ang lolo ko, sa mother side ko, Chinese. Ang lola ko, Maranao. That's why I can talk to them. I can go around talking to them, but hanggang dyan lang. It cannot go deeper than just being signing an armistice of happened on the previous day. Ang lamentation ko dyan sa Amerika is they have fallen short despite of their clever boys there, Pentagon of State Department. Until now, they have not realized that reality. Na marami talagang galit sa kanila. At ako pang inuna nila, Davao City was already, I was the whipping boy of Dilima and Company. Totoo naman eh. Di ba kaksabi ko na talagang totoo yan. But they continued to chastise me. When I was mayor, it was good. Why? Mayor lang ako eh. And they can hit me on the side. But to make a broadside criticism, when I'm already president, is another thing. Kasi presidente na ako, and we are a member of the United Nations. Titirahin ako ng isang spokesman na ulo, son of a bitch, dito sa taga-human rights. And then followed by a lady from the State Department, and followed by Obama, and of late, itong EU lawyers. Sabi ko, we're all stupid and fools. Why? Member na tayo ng United Nations. I am the sovereign head of state. If you want to hit me, bring it to the forum of the United Nations. I am not the state of Tennessee. I am not the state of Alaska. Do not do that to me. You bring the issue there, then talk about it in this national, in the Security Council, or anybody would want to sponsor, then you ask one of your organs, World Health Organization, the Human Rights Commission, WTO, or whatever. But do not hit me directly because you would put to shame the Filipinos outside. So, killer pala yun. Inuubos ninyo. And for that commission to bring out the report, then let me respond officially. Do not hit me directly because that is not allowed. I would like to remind, Obama is a lawyer. I'm sure he studied international law. I did. Nobody knows it, but I was a foreign service graduate also. Because I wanted to work outside, only to be discouraged by my father. So what will you do there? Why will you work in another country? Why don't you just, that's the reason why. So alam ko, sabi ko, Obama, studied international law. I'm sure of that. And I did. And he knows that you cannot do it. So why are you doing it? My God. Kaya, hindi ako makasagot because remember that it was not an issue against me during the last election. You will agree with me. But when I was hitting 32, 33, 34, lumabas na yung mga basura, na pera, ng salvaging. Mayayaman man kayong lahat. I know that you have access to the managers. It's just a matter of computer. Pindutin niyo, tignan ninyo ang accounts ko. It was really 18,000 and 5,000. That was the account when I was a congressman. Nung nauwi na ako dito, I didn't bother with that account. Kasi kung mag-alis ako, papabili lang naman ako dito ng dolyar. And besides, I use mayroon namang credit card, bakit? So, that is, kasi baka they will start to, you might be in the export business. Ang ayaw ko dito, sa mga putang inan to, kasi bastos eh. You do that, you behave that, and they said, we will stop the aids. Your aid assistance. Hoy, mga ulol. You get your assistance, give it to the Somalians, and they need it more sa mga refugees dyan who are dying there. British is a hydra. Itong European, dalawa ang mukha nitong mga gagong to. At first, they opened the borders and let the men in droves. Now suddenly, they realize that they are now flooded with migrants, or immigrants for that matter. They close it, and some of those poor guys are out there. It's December, and the winter is about to set in. Yung mga hypocrisy. Middle East was invaded by Germany, Italy, Great Britain, America, and it was they who divided the countries according to the tribes. Iraq, Iran, and so on and so forth. Egypt. Pagkatapos, they do not like the strong men. No elections. But they do not realize until now that, take it from me, ang Muslim world is governed by the Quran. And the Quran is fundamentally feudal. It is not by election, but by the tribes. It's written 3,000 years ago. Pati ang Bible natin, it's 3,000 years ago. Ano ba ang pakialam ko kung saan si Moses nagbaba ng bukid o sa Mayon o sa Mount Apo? But they think it is antiquated and should be changed. Hindi mo pwedeng look at Iraq. On a pretext of mass destruction, weapons. Wala naman talaga doon pala. So what happened to Iraq? It's in shambles. They undermine Libya. Libya is a failed state. Now they're eating up Syria. And it's, you see, nanood kayo ng CNN. Look at people that are dying. And yet they have just to go because itong left, sinakyan. No, not the left. Brother, the yellow rode on the issue. And they like to see their opponent pictured as a... That will not deter me, mind you. Whether I sink or go up, it will continue until the last poser is out of the streets. And what? What are the consequences that you are threatening me? I'll be ousted? Fine. It will be part of my destiny. Hindi ka mga presidente kundi siya. But destiny carries with it so many things. Hanggang dyan lang ako. If I die, that's part of my destiny. You know, presidents get assassinated. That would be my, that is, so, I was, the day I was elected, preparado na ako. But I could die, I would lose honor. I do not think I'd lose anything that has to do with honor. Hindi ho ako magnanakaw, and I don't get paid by the thousands if I kill one drug lord. I lose the presidency. Okay. Kasi yan ang tinatakot. Hindi ako matakot ng gano'n. Because if it happens, I would accept it as part of my destiny. Hindi ako matakot. Hindi ako yung kanahangol na mamamatay ako kung kunan mo ako ng luruan ng presidente. Or I said, in my childhood days, being president at mayor was not really part of my dreams. Yan ang totoo yan. So, hindi ako pwedeng matakot ng gano'n. Ang gusto ko lang talaga noon, kasi mahilig ako magligaw ng magagandang babae. Ang magagandang babae, wala namang hilig sa akin. But for those few who had a misstep, ganito, now, baka magkaanuhan ito, yung small negosyo. I would see that after a visit sa China, things would improve a lot. Maybe or maybe not, I would have enough money to play around to fund things like Go Negosyo. Make it more. No? What I know sa China is this. Do you know that in Fort Magsaysay, again, I'll tell you, hindi ko nga alam eh. They are about to complete the dormitory of a building, dormitories rather, that would house 1,500 rehab, mga adik dyan sa kampo ng Fort Magsaysay. Ginawa ng mga Chinese. Hindi ko nga alam. I just gave the go signal, just ordered the military guys to open up the gates and let them in. So I expect more of those kind of things to be constructed all over. Mahirapan tayo. Kasi itong Amerikano, si Obama, human rights, pati itong mga bright boys sa Europe. Kaya sabi ko, I wrote them a letter. Tapos na ha. I invited the human rights, Obama, the State Department, and the EU. Come here, investigate me. Halika dito. Halika, magsuwara. But, in return, allow me also to ask you questions. Sabi ko, para tabla. I mean, you cannot have your cake, pin me down, and eat it too. Ano kayo? Siniswerte kayo mga buang. You think that you are brighter than me. Yan ang problema. Kala siguro nyo puti kayo na didito kayo sa akin. Sabi nila, first round pa lang, I murdered 1,800 or 700. Ngayon, I'll just tell him, who was my 10th victim? What was his name? What did I kill him? For what and how? Hindi ako sagot, si putang ina, umuwi ka na animal kasi paing kita dyan ngayon. Huwag mo akong bullshitin. Hindi mangyayari, mas bright sila sa atin. Maniwala kayo. Ako ganito na ako 17. I said I assembled men of mga ano ito, mga cum laude ito. Tugade was Mon was I think cum laude ka mo, no? Tugade was valedictorian. Magna yan, cum laude. Pit Aguirre. Mga classmate ko yan. Basta naman ang kilala ko. Si Dulay Asaver, mahusay yan. Is an honest man. Bebot Bilio. Medyo kasama ko sa inuman yan. Kaya tabla lang ang grado namin. But all others, Sunny Dominguez, the owner of this hotel, we are neighbors, same subdivision. Kababata ko talaga ito. Grade 1 kami, valedictorian na to. Nag-graduate yan kung saan-saan. I studied in UCLA. Wala yan, mahusay yan. Top yan. Pero ngayon, trabahante ko lang sila lahat. Ako 75 lang. Yeah, how do you rate yourself? 6. 74. Mataas na yan. Ako noon, dahan-dahan lang ako. Hindi naman kasi ito sila, mga apurado. Ako naman sa eskwela, I feel Sunny was well ahead. Nakatapos na yan ng masteral course niya, pag-uwi. Medyo kakatapos ko lang sa AB noon. Wala, 7 years ako sa high school eh. That's why I'm brighter. Kasi mas matagal ang... ang pundas yan. Sa College of Law, ang investment namin dyan yan sa Ligarda pati. Itang Ligarda, Injula, yan sa kanto. Ice cold beer. Chilled. Ayan, sige basa libro. Wala sa library. Diyan lang. May jukebox pa, MacArthur's Park. Kaya yung walang ibang tao dito sa Davao makakanta ng akong MacArthur's Park. Ako lang. Really? Totoo, ako lang. Yung talagang kanta. Batos. So let's talk back to business. Shut up, guys. So the thing is, I entered the presidency midstream. It's a budget operated by me, but prepared the previous year by Aquino. Implemented now. But half of the year, kanya, half of the year, in June. Sino pa naman? Sabi ko, bakit pinapatay ni Duterte yan? Ayaw niya ilibing na o kaya ayaw niyang i-rehab. Where do I get the money? Like any other your companies, you operate on a budget yearly. Kung walang, I cannot get the money from the Department of Foreign Affairs, from Labor, from the ICT, from Education, and get it to put up rehab. That would be robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's somebody else's money. Wala man ako kasi ang naiwan sa akin, MOOE. Alam nila yan. Wala na akong capital outlay. No more. So, kaya mo ipit ako. And yet when they criticize, Obama when he criticized me, knew that I was a midterm president and alam niya wala akong pera. May gobyerno siya, alam niya yan. If it is not in the budget, I could not get it from somebody else's pocket. Wala eh. Now next year, which is being prepared now, we have this money to deal with the drug problems. One thing is, what's bears really watching is how China would respond to the challenges of our needs. Sabi niya, bigyan ka namin ito. Well, if I get some loans, I will give you some. Kung bigyan niya ako ng, I don't know, but he promised an amount, okay na sa akin yan. So I can deal, ang una talaga is, of course, it would be education, additional funding for education, then yung rehabilitation, then agriculture, and maybe yung itong micro and small industries para doon sa mga matulungan. Maybe, just maybe, kung gamitin talaga ang pera sa makinig kayong mabuti, then you learn from the learned, then maybe something will come out of it. Noon kasi yung maging presidente ako, we received 2 million. 1 million when Cory won, she made it 2 million. Contribution ng PAGCOR sa Davao. So sabi niya, give it to the poorest of the poor. Eh madali sa akin yan kasi galing ako dyan, so I would know sinong bigyan. Walang nakabayad, come election time, itong kalaban ko sa politika, yung garbage ng extrajudicial killing. Tiga report, so I was investigated. Sabi ko, look guys, if you're asking me saan, I give it to them. Mayroon photograph, everything, because, I used to be a prosecuting, a trial lawyer ako ng gobyerno, prosecutor. I was also at the same time taken in by Gonzales noon. Wala pa yung ombudsman. It used to be known as the special office of the special prosecutor at Tanod Bayan. So I was one of those who were prosecuting graft and corruption. That's why kaya kong mahusay ako mag-present ng evidence from the time it is audited, ganun, step by step, up to the time yung malversation occurs. Mahilig ako dyan. Kaya, so madali akong matuto. But anyway, may nagasinyas na kasi. Still have another, so I'll cut it short. Ganito na lang. If I get to have additional money outside of government sources, you will have a part of it. Yung sa ano. But the thing is, you have to get it from me personally. And if you are, kung maganda ka, double the amount. Pero just kagaya ng ordinary na magandang Pilipina, siguro, depende na rin kung... yan ang, if I get those things that I expect, I'm not so much into expectations. But I will look for the money. And if I get some, I said, you will have a part of it. Otherwise, wait for next year. And still, alam mo malapit sa akin yung, ayaw ko magpadrama, pero anak lang din ako ng mahirap. Ang pupunta ko dito namin, 1948, Davao was still but you know what? Yung land of promise is really not true. Those were the slagoneering of the Americans because they really wanted me now badly because walang typhoon dito. So everything would naturally, except that they could not get to workers here because moro na lahat. So they have to keep up this slagoneering, go to Mindanao because it is the land of promise. My father was one of those. Bata pa pumunta siya, but he married a Mindanaoan. But even when we, from Iligan, Iligan is just beside Marawi. To Davao, pagdating namin dito, wala na. And even the wetlands behind Ateneo de Davao, just in front. In front of this hotel is the Ateneo de Davao. At the back was still a wetland. Would you believe it? It was already titled in the name of just so few. Ang karamihan dito sa Mindanao, they got 1,000, no, the advent of land reform, 1,000 hectares, 500. Those were the Americans who never went back to America. And yung mga Spaniards, tawag nila insulares. Yung nandito na nagsettle dito, yung mga anak nila. Yun ang tawag na insulares. Kami yung mga Tibo, wala. Wala talaga. We had the house there beside Kekila Dominguez because this tatay ko, lawyering. Kaya I know. Hindi mo ako maano sa tingnan. I'm the only politician thereabout who can really fathom. Bantayan ninyo ako kung maglabas. Bantayan ninyo ako maglabas. I do not, ako galit nga ako dito sa PCSG. Because sanayan sila mag-embrace sa akin. Everybody. Lalagang. Dito sa Davao, sanayan sa. Remember that I was mayor for 23 years. I never lost an election until I became president. Hindi talaga natalo. Kaya masaktan ako yung minsan. Kasi yung tangina yung kutsi ko. Hindi ko mabuksan. Hanggang hindi buksan ang gagong driver doon. The first day na sinundo nila ko I became president. Ito na 1 kilometro. Sa bahay pa lang, maliit yung subdivision niya, makitig. You should go to my village. My house is very small. Nandyan ako sa teacher's village. Dangdangan ko na 1 kwarto na because nanganak yung asawa ko. Hindi kami pwede sa kama. Ayaw ko rin matanda na ako. Nagpagawa ako ng kwarto. Ang bahay ko, ganun, tapos may parang chimney. Tapos may room. So, anak na ako ng mahirap. At hindi ako yumaman hanggang ngayon. But in the process, I got the best of politics. I never lost an election. It was always a landslide. And even the president won landslide. Ang problema nito, baka may slide ako. Salamat po.